That's nice.
What's up, guys? It's RevJ again. It's a nice summer day. Summer's more than half over already. I haven't put up much about the 66, and I had a couple people message me on social media, a couple comments on my other videos saying basically what's going on with it. So I figured I'd take a few minutes and give you guys sort of a state of the truck address. Looks pretty much the same as it did at the end of last season when I went ahead and rebuilt it after the 2016 little incident where I got hit. Obviously the bed still hasn't been painted, that still needs to happen, but there had been so much going on basically since the frame was done. So I'm gonna try to pick you guys up where that all left off. If you don't check out my build over on the 67 to 72 Chevy Truck forums or check me out on social media, there have been more incremental updates regarding the truck over there. So if you want to stay up to date on that stuff, please go check those out. So I guess we'll do a little walk around here and talk about what's new this season. So for the most part, the bed looks pretty much the same as it did at the end of last year. Still in this E-coat finish. Need to get paint on it. Didn't really get around to it yet for a couple of reasons. One, it looks kind of fine in black. The E-coat holds up decently. Of course, I want to get paint on it, but it hasn't been a main priority since the truck was already black and blue. It doesn't stick out quite as bad as it should, but I do have a bunch of the extra blue sitting around, and that is hopefully going to happen yet this summer. The bed panels themselves, you guys have seen those with the modular bed and of course the coilover suspension we did after the rebuild last year, and of course the fire extinguisher over there, which I showed the install of. Now naturally your eyes have probably been attracted to this guy, the newly attached Nitrous Tank. Now, let's see, I threw this in the beginning of this season, started getting everything put together, got the mounts installed that hold the bottle in there. Let's see if I can get this in there. All right, that's a little bit better. So that's the tank. Like I said, put it in a little earlier this season and made a couple changes to the system as we went there. Got the mounts in through the aluminum bed floor panel. Now they are secured with a backing plate. Just because this is steel and aluminum, I don't want it to be able to come out. The whole bed panel does come out, but it's bolted in multiple places. If you guys haven't seen the rest on the bed, go check out the modular bed videos I did. Went ahead, added a hole with a grommet so we could get our dash 6 feed line in there. You can do dash 4, dash 6. Dash 6 will do a larger shot of nitrous, and since I was doing it anyway, I went ahead and ran the dash 6 lines. This is a high flow bottle fitting on here, so I figured might as well spend a couple extra bucks and just run the dash 6 stuff all the way up. I'm not running that big of a shot, but if I ever want to go there in the future, it's already on there. Got the nitrous outlet remote bottle opener. Again, the driver's seat is only right there, so it's not too far away, but because I was mounting it sort of kitty corner from the driver's seat, I figured might as well go ahead and use the remote bottle opener just to crack it open if I want to. I've got the nitrous outlet gauge there. This is one of the nitrous outlet glow gauges. I'm not sure how much night vision I'm going to end up needing, but I guess it's always there, and it just looks like kind of a cool gauge. Of course, got our wiring with the weather pack connectors, so it can all be disconnected. Like I said, that all disconnects, and this whole panel can lift out with the bottle, or you can take the bottle out separately just to go ahead and fill it, since, well, you're gonna need to fill it if you're running nitrous. Go ahead here. Of course, the exterior of the truck should look pretty much the same. Nothing's changed there on the outside. Go ahead and pop the door open here. Bum, bum, bum. This should all look pretty much the same to you guys as well, if you recall what the inside of my truck looks like. Got our gauge cluster there, no changes, nothing new going on here. Little bit here, you can kind of see. Let's see if I can get it zoomed in there. There we go. That's the little wide open throttle switch we've got going, and the stock on the gas pedal that activates it. Initiates it, that's not a word. Can I reach? Nah, I can't reach from where I am. You guys get the idea. This guy right here, this is the MSD window switch, sort of digital window switch that'll run the nitrous 2 as well as the wide open throttle switch. I've got both on there for safety. Of course, my fuel gauge. When you've got a 10-gallon fuel cell, basically, if you're below half in this thing, you probably need to go ahead and stop by a gas station. Back out here, what else is new this year? This I posted on social media. Went ahead and took out the shifter console, painted it black. Got our cool little color matched letters in there. I put that up how I did that, went ahead and just basically sanded this thing down, got a paint base layer on there, did a wash on these to go ahead and get the blue down in there, cleaned it off, and then went ahead and cleared it. We went ahead and I had a bunch of carbon fiber laying around, so I laid out just a little square panel, went and plotted where the switches were going to go ahead and drilled it through on the backing plate as well. Then I could get the switches entered in there. We've got a master power, an arm switch, and this is the momentary on either direction that goes and runs the bottle opener. You got your purge, and there's actually a space, a blank under here. Of course, from the driver's seat, it's all pretty comfortable to reach when your hand's just up here on the shifter or down by the reverse lockout. So really happy with the way that turned out. Again, got everything on there to run the nitrous system, and of course we have the window switch in here that acts as a safety. So with all that, we should probably go ahead and take a look at the, well, newly added nitrous stuff under the hood. Get out here. Yeah, I have cats tattooed on my knees. Little, I don't know, you probably didn't see that before, so if you question my strangeness. I've also got cats on the back of my knees. Back of my leg, I should say, playing musical instruments. That one's gonna get finished soon. All right, let's get our way around to the front here. Again, like I said, nothing on the outside's changed, but under hood, of course, you'll see the biggest change right back there. We've got all three solenoids. Went with nitrous outlet for all of them, nitrous solenoid, purge solenoid, and fuel solenoid. Actually got really lucky. I ordered both regular nitrous outlet solenoids from Summit, got upgraded to the Pro Mod for the fuel solenoid for free, so I was pretty happy about that. See if I can get in there. Bent up a little bracket. As you can see, all the feed lines tuck nicely into the firewall, basically come along where all of my existing lines were routed. Come to the fuel here. We've of course got our purge coming out. That actually goes up through that grommet there. I'll show you guys where that pops out. And it comes out right there through these slats in the cowl. If you guys can kind of see, it's just that little plug comes off and the nitrous purge runs right there. It's angled away from the windshield enough so I don't have to worry about any of the potential of cracking the windshield. I've never seen it happen, but I've definitely heard about it. You run the high pressure cold gas, hot windshield on a hot day, potentially there's the risk for cracking. So that goes up pretty much on a 90, so there shouldn't be any concerns. Again, pop back under the hood, like I said, made that bracket. The bracket for the solenoids comes under the engine cover. I was really surprised with how everything fit under the engine cover. I know some of you guys don't like these that much, but I've been weirdly partial to my Vortec Max cover, and I've kind of done everything I can to, at least until we go with like a high ram, keep it the way it is. Let me scoot under this way here. You can see the fuel line comes under, passes under the engine cover there. I've got my existing fuel pressure gauge chilling over there. That actually goes all the way under this side, and that is where it connects to the fuel line there. Actually, as a matter of fact, well, let me see if I can find a wrench. We can pop this off so you guys can see how that lays out, because of course the nitrous plate itself is hiding right under here also. So let's pop that thing off and see if we can't get a look at it. Okay, so that is all the sort of plumbing work that had to go on under the engine cover there. Really, it laid out pretty nicely. Just passes under these, just like that, on both sides. That is where the fuel goes and taps off the existing Schrader valve on the fuel rail. Pretty convenient that you don't have to run a standalone fuel system or find some other way of doing it with an inline fitting. Taps off there nicely. Of course, I've got my outgoing lines there and there, which are the ones that you see zigzagging through here, and then connecting up to the nitrous outlet plate. This is actually the car plate. This isn't the specific truck plate. You do have the concern where the, I think it's the EGR or the EVAP solenoid sits right here. I just went ahead and made a little block off for it. Let's see if you, there you go. Just sort of a teardrop piece of metal with a bolt going through it that was shaved down and keeps the little sort of rubber booty on it from before. Seals up nice, there's no big leak issue there, and lets you run the car style plate straight back. The truck style plate has the fittings on the sides, so you can let them go right out there and right out there. But you know what? I had this one and it worked great for me. Normally you do have the extended studs they give you. I didn't get those because I got this one from a buddy, so it wasn't the original OE kit. I had to put a few things together. Went ahead and made longer studs for those, so it all fits together pretty darn nicely, and like I said, it all fits under the engine cover. So really happy with the way that worked out. Like I said, I haven't showed you guys dyno numbers on this thing yet, let alone dyno numbers with the nitrous. Really looking forward to do that. But of course, there's more stuff on order yet, so you're gonna have to be a little patient, well, like with everything with me, before any of that comes out. What else went on this year? Went ahead, talked about this one a lot, the problematic power steering gear. My old one was leaking. It's a Saginaw power steering gearbox. Again, this is a 66, but we are running the 71, 72 and up style power steering. This is the box out of a 73. That's mostly what you're gonna get reman at parts stores. The other one was leaking out of the input shaft side here. We took it in, and the input shaft and rag joint that I was using was nothing like anything that you could find commonly available. Had a much smaller input shaft diameter and a much weaker rag joint. We went ahead, the bolts fit the same way and the studs fit the same way into my, what do you want to call this joint here? And so we went ahead and just upgraded it, ran the new style rag joint, ran the new style input shaft on this Saginaw box, and it's been pretty good so far. Took a lot of the angle out of the steering, the weird problems we had. If you guys followed my social media, I complained about this a ton because the first replacement gearbox that I got was defective. There was like a hard spot in the steering, and you almost had to get two hands when you got like a third to the right, which is obviously pretty dangerous. Running that with the Captain Fab bracket. If you guys are over on the 67 to 72 Chevy truck forums, you've seen this. He's pretty much the go-to guy for all of the power steering conversion brackets. Definitely happy with this. Beats the stack of washers by a mile. I really wanted to look at this. It's not something I've looked into a ton. I've seen a little bit of talk about it, mostly from the bagged guys. Are there kits that allow you to flip the tie rods to the bottom? Because I've got a little bit of an angle, as you guys can see there, going downward and out, and I would love to see if I could correct that by flipping the tie rod to the bottom to correct some of that and hopefully get some of that bump steer out of there. If you guys are familiar with something like that, please shoot me a message because I'd love to see what it is. Let's see, what else is new? Everything else is pretty... Oh, you know what? The last thing. You guys probably remember seeing the hood mounts that I had before. I took the inner fenders out and there's no way to support the hood. Some people make pocket hinges and stuff like that. I didn't want to run those. So previously I had my buddy laser cut me just some basic triangular sort of brackets there with a 90-degree piece of steel on them. I ran those for, what, a year and a half before I went ahead finally, that lighting's not that good, went ahead finally this year and just threw the input side steel and boxed the ends of them, got them welded up. They are still hollow on the bottom, so there you go. You can see they're hollow on the bottom, so all the bolts are fully accessible, but everything else is nice and boxed. They're much stronger. The hood doesn't wiggle around or anything like that when you put a little bit of force on it like it used to, and just threw some black paint on them to match everything else under the hood. I think in terms of where we're at this year, guys, oh, hold that thought, we have one more thing. I showed the bed, and I didn't exactly show the changes we made to the bed sort of notch cover, so I'm gonna switch over and we'll take a look at that. All right, so I put up a couple pictures end of last season about the notch cover I was doing for the center of the bed, where the wheel tubs are exposed and everything. And I had a bunch of thin gauge aluminum like this. I bent the whole thing up, got it all riveted in place, and I just wasn't happy with it. It was too thin, it didn't match the grade of the aluminum around it, so that was reduced to the aluminum scrap pile, and I started on a new solution, which is sitting down over here. This is just some heavier gauge aluminum. It's actually the matching gauge to what the bed used. It's the leftover material from the bed floor. Went ahead and welded some tabs onto the end here, just blended the thing back. We've got some cutouts and these existing tabs which need to be finish blended. The idea of these is going to be that they will fit over each individual side wheel tub and the main notch will remain exposed. I'm going to have mechanical fasteners on the top for normal engagement, And then everywhere where this is gonna contact the steel bed, I'm actually, we'll see if this works, running neodymium magnets to suck it down to the bed. That way I only have to have a couple of mechanical fasteners. The rest will hold on magnetically. So I've kind of had thoughts going both ways on whether or not that's gonna work. Obviously mechanical fasteners are best for that reason. You know that if they're connected, they're connected. But neodymium magnets are pretty strong. I'm gonna be running, I think, 6 to 8 magnets each side to hold everything down into the steel portions of the bed there. I'm hoping it'll work. I think if it does work, it's gonna be a very slick method of attachment. Of course, that first trip up on the freeway will be a little nerve-wracking to see whether or not I lose my entire bed panel going down the road. But that's what the mechanical fastener part is for, I suppose. So, I know that was pretty quick, guys. Just a couple updates in terms of what we have been doing on the truck this year. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of projects for other people, projects for friends. I was painting my buddy Ryan's Firebird. If you haven't checked that video out, it is up on the channel. He's got an LS3 swapped 68 Firebird. We did the body and paint on that thing. Turned out fantastic. I've got, I think, 3 videos up on that with a 4th sort of final polish and results video to go. There is a bunch of stuff happening on this, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on that, as well as the trike. So that will all be coming it, guys. A bunch more going on, tons more on this truck. More on my buddy Dan's car. We've been waiting on parts for that thing the whole season. Actually, speaking of parts, I just finally went and ordered new wheels for the 66. They're not on there. These are the ones I've been running, which I've been super happy with. I've gotten tons of positive comments. So as a matter of fact, if you like my existing wheels, they may be for sale in the very near future. I've been extremely happy with them. I'm simply going to a new style, ultra lightweight sort of racing wheel, and being custom built by Whole Shot, if you guys know Whole Shot wheels. So really excited for that to come in. Of course, I'll have a video on that once it comes out because they're pretty cool looking wheels, and I'm just gonna be excited to show them off, I guess, right? So, like I said, guys, I'm rambling, and that's usually where I like to cut my videos off. Ton more coming. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the social media, all of the stuff everybody asks you to do at the end of a video, etc., etc., etc. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. America.